thinking about price today. Niggas been thinking for ice today. Never been thinking about price today. Them seasonally, I cannot think about scrutiny. I make my flame and my business. I'm a brand of my business. Them seasonally, I cannot think about scrutiny. I make my flame and my business. I'm a brand of my business. I don't smoke.
Yeah, Kyle, at last.
Last time maybe ngidakiwe ngibanjelwe ipapala ngiyayizwa nje nento engikhulumayo sometimes ukuthi
iphele eceleni
and everything that goes to the internet, man.
Yeah.
It stays there.
True.
And some of them, you know, it can even jeopardize your whole entire career. Because some people are going to search for you and then they find a video on YouTube and
like
watch
a background check,
and then they say, oh, this guy
it's like this.
He's like this. You know.
Speak about YouTube, Mkhwebane. We are very fond of Penuel.
Me?
Yeah.
I'm not.
You love him so much.
I do not.
You
like
admire?
him. I do not admire him. I think that there is something which they call what do they call it? I forgot the term. But it actually says the more a person thinks is smart, is actually really dumb.
But
and the ones that think we don't have enough information, we do not know, those are the smart ones. It's called the Dunning-Kruger effect.
But Penuel is very smart.
He's not.
He's a bookworm. He's educated. He grew a
he's not what he thinks he is. You cannot just come and as a human being and then think when you are God. And always on his interviews he'll be like, hey, I'm smart. I'm really smart. You have to Google what we call it, Dunning-Kruger effect. Learn about it.
Someone said to me, the reason why he's like this is so vividly and open and vocal.
He's the same as Lentwana Le, who's the one with the dot? Who's this guy who's always on the podcasts, most of the podcasts?
The Penuel show.
He was on one of those as well.
Pensin Lojo.
Who's this guy, man?
From Mozambique.
The producer.
Justify.
Okay, I will remind you later.
I've forgotten him.
I'll remind you later.
But someone said to me, Penuel, the reason why he's like this because he lost a multi-million business. So after losing that, he had a mental breakdown. So that's why he decided now, fuck the world. I'ma go.
You don't think him having a mental breakdown also contributed in how he is right now in his character?
He told me he's strong mentally because of the genocide of his family. He's born like that. Even in the family, it's like that. So people just tend to criticize some things that they don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, well, it's
in the genes of the family.
Yeah, it's in the family because now he comes from the mixed race family.
But then maybe you are actually right. Maybe he is smart because most of the people who are really smart tend to have that a bit like Einstein, you know.
True. They're eating pills.
Yeah. So they tend to have that
then mental breakdown, then mental disorder, disability,
psychological what you call it, disorder somehow. It means that your mind does not work the same way as any ordinary human
being. No.
So it's the smartness.
No, man. Thank you so much. I officially welcome you, Busisiwe, and the live season show. It's a blessing to have you as always. You're very smart, very articulated, and articulating every day and every time whenever you utter some few words that you have for us. So, the beginning, starting off our first interview, I'd like to know more in the depth of this Israel and Palestine battle or war, because now so many children, so many young people, so many, let me just say, people have been assassinated. Some have been dead, some are injured, some have died in the hospitals and everywhere. So I just want to know fundamentally, hence I saw that the EFF is also in solidarity with Palestine. I just want to know the fundamental basis on what's the reason behind all this war. Hence we're still also focusing on the Ukraine and Russian war. what's the reason behind all these wars? Is it that war? Hence, I once read that war will be fought under the sea.
I will not lie to you and try to explain something I do not have any information on. Otherwise, I will only just give you speculations. And I'm not a person who gives only speculations. I want to have credible sources when I actually utter. Okay, I can see the disturbance you were talking about. Yeah, I can see it now. So I won't actually give you something I do not have reference on, and actually and just give you speculations. So on that one, I'll think we will actually pass.
But man, it's terrible to watch.
As I've actually seen
the mental breakdown of every kid, of every
people dying.
Yeah. I mean,
it's very bad.
Hence now we're still faced with the Russian war. But hence we're passing. Advocate Busisiwe has joined.
I saw finally
the public protector.
Yeah, the public protector is coming on our side. It means now she can actually be able to disclose some other information that she couldn't disclose before, because now we are a political party that actually embraces
the work ethic.
Exactly, the work ethic, and actually speaking, not being able to speak actually is against our political agenda.
I saw everyone at this point is joining the EFF. Don't you think maybe there will be some disturbances, there will be havoc there and there, because now everyone who's in the pinnacle or in the high position or who are professionals are joining the EFF. So now the celebrities, the people who led before, their leadership style, the everything. Don't you think now they are too much congested in one place?
I actually think that it is good that everyone is joining now. This is giving us a diversity of different minds coming in one a place to actually come with solutions that the country is facing. And them actually joining is actually giving us a glimpse on what can actually happen next year in the elections.
True. So do you think it's going down, or maybe the EFF will win?
I cannot say it will win.
The percentage.
I cannot say it will win right now. My perception on what can actually happen, or my point of view, is we will see a coalition for next year. ANC will not go down without a fight. I will not lie to you. They've been there. They fled since from the beginning, since 1993.
True.
Up until now, we have corporate industries, or actually businesses, who invested a lot of money in the ANC. So they won't just decide that they are just letting go like that. So for next year, what I can speculate is, or what I can actually predict, is a coalition that is going to happen there between your DA, if it will happen, and then EFF as well, and then your IFP as well. Maybe in the next, after the elections of next year, maybe in the next 10 years or 5 years, we do see that EFF can take over. Exactly.
Because now I feel like now they're ruining everything that Malema started. Everyone, each and everyone. I'm sure they want to have their own viewpoint and perspective in each and every portfolio they receive. So now, if you can see, everyone who's relevant is there in the EFF. So I just want to know, what would Julius Malema be able to maneuver the processes of each and every single human being who's very professional, who has been at the ground in other parties? How would he able to occupy them in their spaces?
We cannot actually just pinpoint on the CIC alone. The EFF has members who are actually have bright minds. Your Floyd Shivambu is a very bright person. He's very smart. Not only him, Faras, Dalimpofu, you name them. So I think that all of these individuals, when they come together, they can be able to create policies that can actually guide all of those political parties that will be under those coalition. So I really think that already they are in place, those policies.
True.
Some of them, the only thing right now is for them to be implemented. So it's going to be easy to just adjust or integrate when the time comes of the coalition.
You spoke about the ANC can't just give up the power just like that. They would try. They won't die without a fight. So now we know Kuti, when the EFF takes power, the first thing they will do is to bring back the land. Hence, Burkina Faso, the Ibrahim, the president of Burkina Faso, back in I don't know the country. I've forgotten the country, but I don't know maybe if you know you've heard a lot about him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
The first thing he did was to cut off ties with France. First thing he did when he entered president, he decreased his wages. I mean his salary as a president. So now we know the ANC. The reason why won't be able to give power just like that is because now they know what the fundamental basis of it's land. They will give back land. So what's your take on that?
I totally think that it will actually happen, but not instantly.
Yeah.
I think that it will actually take process of integrating and then creating policies that are going to structure this whole entire thing, and then those processes are going to be followed slowly. There is a favorite saying my mother used to say that says, Rome was not built over a day.
Over a day, yeah.
So taking land back to the people of South Africa, or let it be state owned, it's something that will happen, but then not just instantly. Yeah, maybe in next 10 years to 15 years.
What will stop the process?
It's something that is actually huge. Radical change like that can actually collapse the economy, and I think that the EFF also knows that. As much as they do want the land to go back to the state or to its people or the people who are working the land, they do know that land also, I mean the economy also depends on the land.
True.
So radical change cannot actually happen the way that they articulate it right now on the media and all that.
Because now Julius Malema said they would give the land to the state and let the state distribute.
Yes.
So they would distribute in terms of qualifications. Is this really your land?
Yes.
So I feel like even if they take the land, they already do have the policies. They do have the mindset and the perspective. No, you can ask some guys, fine.
Okay.
It's fine, guys.
I should have actually switched this off.
It's fine,
I actually switched it off. Oh, it's on silent.
It's on silent. No problem.
Apologies for that.
No problem. So I was saying, Nguti, he already has the policies on how to govern over the land.
Yes.
It will give it when they say, I fundamentally think when they say it will give to rightful owners, it's because of the certificate they will produce. This is my land.
Okay.
This is how I received this land. I paid.
This is how I'm going to use it.
Exactly. So I fundamentally believe the instant takeover of the land and give it to the rightful owners won't be that much, hard, because they already have the proper the proper mandate for the land. Because now if this is your land, you tell us what do you do in this land. You plow, you plant trees, you do gardening or whatsoever. Hence now when you go to your residential place, your land is the property that you have, it's your land. You sleep.
So with that, I actually think that you are actually right to attest to that. There is something which the ANC created, which they called a freedom charter.
True.
So on that freedom charter, this thing of land going back to its people was already there.
True.
It's just that they did not implement it the way that it was written on the freedom charter. So now you have to remember that EFF is coming from the ANC. So now EFF is coming out with the agendas, or actually one of the manifestos that were in the freedom charter.
Yeah.
So now they are saying that we are implementing something that you guys planned. and did not implement.
True.
So them actually taking it and implementing it, it's actually going to be easy because it's something that was there. And it's been on what it's been on the Freedom Charter. So even though it's not going to be radical,
But it will happen.
it will actually happen.
So when,
And remember that the economy is on the land.
so do you think Nguti, the EFF working with the IFP will able to increase their votes?
Yeah, definitely.
Because now people see the IFP as a tribalist party. They are scared of the IFP because of what they did in Thokoza.
Yes.
They are scared of the IFP because they think Uti into Amazulu is for the Zulu nation. So do you think Uti maybe there will be something that they can work together upon? Because now you remember at the burial, at the memorial service for the late Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi, Dr. Ndlozi said Mangosuthu Buthelezi was a man of peace. Many people disagreed on that.
Yes.
Yeah, because if you go to Nespresso, they have a bad memory of the IFP. So don't you think Guti, maybe the EFF is slightly making its chances, its flatting chances, knowing very well the mind is good. No. The IFP did what back then, but just because of the 2024 election,
Yes.
we are gonna sympathize with them.
Yes.
Hence, Chris Hani made a statement that the IFP was working hand in hand with the apartheid government.
Yes. It's actually a bit of a confusion that actually happened there. I love Dr. Ndlozi, no homo. He inspires me, and at the same time, I think that the statement he made there was contradicting himself, because on his thesis he actually wrote about what actually happened there in Thokoza. So on that speech, he's actually speaking the opposite. Which is contradicting himself. But on the point that you are saying that the coalition of EFF
In IFP.
and IFP, could it actually work or not work? I think that it can actually work on the basis that before we can actually unite the whole entire African nations, we should actually unite as South Africans first and see if it works within the country, this thing of unity.
True.
And then we can go back to the very first meeting of the AU, the one where Kwame Nkrumah said that African nations should actually unite. So if we are failing to actually do it next year, or this thing of coalition, it means that we cannot unite as Africans. So right now it's almost like next year is going to be a trial and fail method. You see?
I see.
So if we are able to unite here in South Africa and be able to run the country, the economy will increase. This means that as African nations, the African nations can actually unite. So they will go back to the African Union and then say, let's implement.
Speaking of being united, I think the reason why fundamentally we are segregated it's because of the education that we have. So the education that we have levels of education that are not the same.
Yes, that's
With
true.
private schools, public schools, some they are schooling at home, some post, some. So the education we receive is not the thesis, or is not the same as we get, as each and every individual gets. So I just want to know, before I tell you my point or my perspective, education should be like how? Let me hear. What's your take? What do you think education in South Africa, not South Africa basically, but in Africa, should be like?
I think we should actually liberate the African philosophy in education. the education we are receiving right now, it's still of the colonial era. Meaning even in high schools, they are still learning about your Hitlers, about your German uprisings in history. And then in your science, everything that we learn about is adopted or referenced from what they discovered overseas. And then everything that they discovered, even your elements, all of those things. There is an African author by the name of Chinua Achebe. So Chinua Achebe is telling the story of what would actually have happened in the Igbo tribe if it happened that it was not colonized. So when Chinua Achebe is talking about his story, he was opposing another author from overseas, and he grew up reading these books in school. And they were portraying Africans as a dark nation. They were portraying them as some sort of animals. When they are when they arrived, they found these people who had bones in their noses, and then they will grab each other and perform cannibalism to each other. So now the education, when it comes in, it was supposed to transform these animals into civilized people. So now when Chinua Achebe in his book that says When Things Fall Apart, he's telling us the real story of Africans, as I did actually uttered it before, that this was like the Garden of Eden, where we could actually plant trees that were not genetically modified, and then when they came along as colonizers, that's when actually everything fell apart. And now when Chinua Achebe continues telling his story, you can actually see the elements of the education that we are receiving actually transforming us to be like them. Because now when they say we are colonizing you, it means you are a colony of the British country. Now you are a small British. Everything of yours has to change. Even your educational system, you have to learn what we are learning. If it's your German uprising, it's the science that we are having, and then so forth and so forth. Everything changes in order for them to actually say, now you are a colony of a British country. Even your streets are going to change. Even the names of what you call your buildings are going to change. Everything is going to be a small version of what we have back home. You are going to East London, but you are here. Even your religion as well is going to be our religion. You understand?
So Gahle, you actually telling me the colonization it was a project.
It's actually something that was planned. What do they call it? The Berlin Conference. Yes, before they actually decided that since we are fighting over this land of a mass continent, you take this, I take this, and everybody takes this. So on that country where you took, you are going to implement your customs, your educational system. You are the one that is colonizing this. English, British people, you are going to be colonizing this, and so forth and so forth and so forth. That's why you will find maybe on your where do they call it? Your Zimbabwe, they speak proper English, and then somewhere else you will find that they speak Portuguese. That's where maybe they took that part for the Portuguese, and so forth and so forth.
So, yeah, man, that's a lot to take in.
Yeah.
So, my own perspective on how education should be like is that each and every student or learner should go back at home, take out your shoes. After taking out your shoes, you look and detect the problems in the community or in the society. It could be agriculture, it could be communications, it could be stores, business, it could be anything. Good now in this community, this is what we are lacking. So now you're having your individual project. Then after that, you meet people here on campus. You're no longer studying, but you're actually studying in order for you to fulfill the imbalances where you come from in your community or society. Then you interact with people. If maybe it could be communication, you interact with people who are doing ICTs, telephone machines, on how to get a person far away from where you're from. You know, you communicate. It could be agriculture, it could be land, it could be anything. Then after that, you when you graduate to a spec whereby professors come and see, then they put and fund you into actually solving the problem at home, because
you researched about.
Exactly, that you research. It's not like a problem that maybe you saw ahead, away from where you at, but it's from the fundamental basis on where you were coming from. So that's where I think the education in South Africa or in Africa as a continent should be like. Some could be religion, or could see what transpired back in the day, whereby we're no longer having the customs of any rituals, of traditions, attires. Why are we not wearing attires? You go and research about all those things. That's what I
I can actually say that is true, and I think that your view of how the education should be transformed is actually correct. And let us not forget about the knowledge that our elders have. Your grandmother, your grandfather, if we still have such people who are still alive. Now that epistemology is taken from, was actually taken away from us during colonization. And then my grandmother, when I'm sick, was able to wake up and then go and pick a certain plant. And then that plant, it will attack exactly the sickness that I have at that time. Now we are talking about people who've never even studied medicine at that time, but they were able to actually cure some other diseases even right now, which the modern medicine does not have cures for. Can we say that the educational system can also adopt that epistemology?
True.
And then say that for this plant, my grandmother said 1, 2, and 3 about it. Can I do research? Because we cannot just say now we are letting go of whatever we have learned. Incorporate what you've actually learned and what the colonizers brought in our country. Incorporate it and say, for this plant, we are doing 1, 2, and 3. This is what we call African science. Maybe just to put it like that, create another name for it.
2020 came, there was COVID. We were told Umhlonyana is not healthy. So they wanted to do test. Which test do you want to do? Because already our grandmothers and fathers already did the test for you.
Because it's not science that they brought to us. Because it's not the medicine that they actually say they approve to us.
Exactly. So those are the things that I also focus on in terms of health. Good, now we are a country of genocide food, of we believe in McDonald's, not to decentralize McDonald's, but it's not healthy for an African child, because now it closes also your mind. That's why they say this fast food of yours, that's how your life would spend will end very fast. So you said I know patata. That's how I'm old, but now I'm aging very well.
That's true. In Russia, they've actually banned most of the genetically modified food. I think that they banned your LGBTQ community. Not that I have anything against it. And I think that Vladimir Putin is actually against everything that the West has indoctrinated the human race with. Because now when they indoctrinate it, they have their own agendas. And then they know why they are actually doing it. So if he's against it, it means that he also knows that they are killing the population in this way and this way and this way. So now he's trying by all means to bring back hope to the human race.
So do you fundamentally believe when when Julius Malema takes part in power of South Africa, the education will be free.
Let me not just say, let's not focus straight to Julius Malema.
Okay.
Because now we are talking about a movement
okay.
that they created. He's no longer just one
Pardon my
person.
ignorance.
Yeah, let's just say the EFF. Yeah. With the EFF in power, I totally think that there is going to be change. Should it happen maybe before a new system works, sometimes you have to destroy the old one. And then that process of destroying the old one, or before introducing a new version, you incorporate from the old one and then maybe you continue. But then it's easy if you destroy and then come up with a new
one.
Yeah. So it can actually happen. It's quite possible.
The way the EFF articulates the free education, I think it will be very radical in terms of you'll be given a year for 3 years, for example. We are demanded on that year you finish. If you fail, it's on you. Because now it will be free for all. Fine, you enter to the university for free, 2nd year, 3rd year. But now, if we are no longer partaking in terms of you are now increasing the marks. I mean, the pass percentage or rate. I mean, what are you doing there? We're giving you a term. Maybe at least the 4th year would be very like we sympathize with you. Maybe we come from a different background.
Yes.
But now we cut ties. Now it's on you. I think it will be free in terms of you won't be paying back.
Yes.
Yeah, about the fees that you owe in the institution.
But is it not already like that?
Yeah, NSFAS does that.
Yeah, it's like that already. Is it not already like
it's already like that.
So which one are we talking about now?
No,
which free education are we talking about?
In terms
because
of already, some bursaries, you have to pay back.
We are talking about some bursaries here.
Some bursaries you have to pay back. But for NSFAS, it's for free.
Yes.
Because I find fundamental.
The only thing that can change is NSFAS must be available
to all.
To all. Because at the end, the institutions have to make profit. If we are saying that, let us ban NSFAS and then the institution have to make education free.
Even the child of Motep.
You see what I'm saying?
It must be free on them.
Yeah, it must be free to everyone. Because the main aim right now is to be against the system that says the black person must not be educated, because we are becoming a threat to the opposite race. If we become more smarter, it means at some certain point we are going to what?
To unite.
Exactly. When we unite, we are becoming a threat to the economy of the ones that do not have the resources.
Sure.
So the only thing that they are against right now is when you become more educated, more black people become more educated, it means at some certain points these people are going to be equals with us. They are going to be smarter than us.
Hey, these things are a lot. Good news we received.
Yes.
We received the good they dropped the CEO. I don't know the Isaac thing.
Yes.
Here during this week.
Yes.
What's your take on that?
It's the EFF. The EFF.
Hence the EFF is taking all of
EFF student command is here, and then they will not allow this thing of a middleman coming to loot the resources of the students.
I mean,
who are coming from poor backgrounds. So they saw an opportunity to eat. Already, they should actually pay back the man that they looted during the Isaka saga.
You know?
What's in it? They must vomit it.
Yeah, they must vomit it. Yeah.
Who's the leader? That one from UL.
Who is it? I've forgotten.
Is it the president?
Yeah.
What is his name? It's on the tip of my head. I will remember it
they
later.
Must vomit it.
Because they have already benefited.
You know what I said? I said, okay, there were kids, now there were students that were defunded. What happened? Because now, and from January to April, they were funded. Then now it slips through. Good, now they're long funded, they are defunded. What happens to their money back in the behind the scenes? Obvious, they're eating it.
Yeah, they are eating it. Besides eating it, I'm looking at the fact that next year there are national elections, and then the ANC is actually, the funders of the ANC have withdrawn. So they have to look at the way they can actually manipulate the system so that they can get money for campaigning.
Do you think the Rupert will withdraw?
As I did say, I won't say anything that I do not have tangible evidence
Because
on.
they are the ones who are funding the ANC. The
We
open
might never
IMAs.
know. We might never know.
No, Gaia, thank you so
might
much.
never
In
know.
closing, what would you say to a person at your age and younger than you?
I could say keep your head up high, focus in school. The more we become educated is the more we can liberate our nation with education. I so wish that I actually thought of this thing when I was younger, that you know what, I should go back to school. It actually dawned on me when I was a bit older that you know what, this is actually the right path to take. Yeah, luckily next year I'll be doing my honors. Maybe I will come back to this video when I'm a doctor at some certain point, and then look and say I'm happy that I actually followed the dream of me becoming a doctor one day.
No, grace upon you, Mkhwebane.
Thank you
Grace
very
upon
much.
you.
Thank you for having
It's
me.
always been a pleasure. Talking,
very much.
I feel excited when I talk to you. There's this thing with I.
Thank you very much, Mkhwebane.
Here we are closing. What it is isn't always be live seasons. We are here.
Mkhwebane, ngibongile.
Bunga mina Mkhwebane.
Bye.
Bye.
Lights today, I can't mention my price today. Niggas been thinking for ice today. Never been thinking my price today. Them season me, I cannot think about scrutiny. I make my flame of my business. I'm a brand of my business. Them season me, I cannot think about scrutiny. I make my flame of my business. I'm a brand of my business. I don't smoke.